Welcome to Real Life Mentoring, where we explore real life issues to help you make an authentic difference in the world.
Hi, it's Chris and Christina. Today we are talking about the need for fathers and mothers. Now, we're not talking about like fathers and mothers, people bearing children and being in the role of father and mother, but people who are stepping into places of acting like mothers, fathers. I don't know if I even explained that.
Father figures.
Yeah,
father figures,
figure,
mother
duh.
figures. Let me
Yeah.
just make this simple. Father figures and mother figures.
Yeah. So recently on a Facebook post, Chris, you threw out this topic and you let people know that, hey, we're going to be formulating some podcast. Here's what we want your feedback on. What did you receive from your parents that helped you? And what would you have liked to have received? And man, we got the responses. You want to start going down through what those responses were?
Sure. With some men, it said, I received a work ethic. Mm-hmm. However, it said, I wish I had received unconditional love. Those are two different things completely.
Yeah.
A work ethic is an important thing to be given, right?
Right.
But a man would say, I wish I had received unconditional love.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. What were some of the other responses?
It's interesting. A woman had said the same thing, a hard work ethic. Mm-hmm. I received the love of words,
Okay.
humor. I did not receive, she said, biblical teaching and guidance.
Okay.
I did not receive protection. That one really disturbs me.
Uh-huh.
Nurturing, compassion, time, affirmation, healthy physical touch. This is from a few different people.
Yeah. Wow. Ooh,
So,
yeah.
what particular thing or which one of those stand out to you, if any?
I don't know. They all just kind of stand out. It's interesting too. I find it fascinating how people respond. The things they didn't get. Obviously, these were all grown adults, probably in their 40s and 50s, who responded.
Probably so. It could have been some in the 30s, but all adults for quite a few years at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
So,
interesting.
I go back to my own growing up, and my parents, I can say they did the best they knew how at the time, but there were numerous things that I did not receive. In fact, this is a side note, Christina. You and I took an assessment about a year and a half ago called the...
Adverse childhood experience.
Wow, there you go. Adverse
Ta-da.
childhood
Yeah.
experiences.
We took this assessment, and it measures the amount of trauma you experienced in your childhood. And then it's sort of an indicator, the greater the number, the potential greater number of difficulty functioning as an adult.
Yeah, the less likely you could function well as an adult.
Right.
When I took this assessment, mine was a 7, almost an 8
Out of 10.
out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which is not good.
Which is not good at all. And I think it said if you scored over 4 or 5,
I want to say 3, but whatever.
that there probably some real trauma took place and you probably need some help. And I read that and I thought, wow, I did not realize at what level some of my childhood, the difficulty that I went through.
So we're not going to camp out on our past. I think what we're trying to say with today's episode is the things that you did not receive, and maybe some of the things you did receive as grown adults. I think people still need mothering and fathering. So let's bring it back to our current circumstance, right? So we have gaps where we wish that we would have been mothered and fathered better, differently. And the young people, and even not so young people, like 40, who are in our lives, who we've been intentional with, at the end of the day, that's what they're saying is, man, we need to be parented a little bit. There's some gaps in what we didn't receive. And yeah, everybody needs a little parenting.
When I finished college, I had this thought, okay, I've made it through my childhood, teenage years, I made it through college, I'm good to go, and I'm supposed to know a lot of things and be completely independent at this point. That wasn't true, but I thought that's how my brain worked. Mm-hmm. What I did not realize until later, I needed parents in my life. I needed a father figure and probably a mother figure as well. But as a man, I really needed and desired a father figure.
Right.
And so at what age do you stop needing a parental figure, Christina?
I'm 54 and I still do.
I believe God has instilled that in our hearts, in our very souls. Because see, one of the things I've learned to do with God when I'm talking to God, and I said, well, God, I want to thank you for being my God, my creator, but thank you for being my father. I have experienced God as a father at this point in my life like I've never experienced him before. It's been a process of developing, understanding this.
Right.
But I believe God gives that to us, that desire, that need to be fathered and mothered, and it begins with him.
So what does that look like? Here's just a really practical example. The church that we go to, there's varying ages, heavy, thank the Lord, on young people, like college age young adults, I would say. That's the heaviest.
Yeah, 20s and 30s probably.
Yeah, so yay. However, at the end of the service time, there's always a ministry time. And what that means is if somebody wants to be prayed for or prayed with after the service on whatever the topic was, then there's people at the front who just make themselves available to pray. And
we've chosen to be a part of that.
Right, because in this, we go to a rather large church. There's lots and lots of young people. There's also younger-ish people at the front. And every time we make ourselves available, there's younger people wanting to come to us for that sense of being parented.
I'd like to think they don't look at us and go, oh, they're old. Let me go talk to them.
Oh, they do.
They do. Okay. No, but there's that sense of fatherhood and motherhood.
Right. It just feels good. And so what we're not saying is, like, let's take one of the feedback is I did not receive protection, nurturing, compassion. I don't know that I am to step in to people's life to offer protection, nurturing, compassion, or anything else that they've listed that they missed. But by being a mother figure in somebody's life, I can meet them where they're at. I can offer my wisdom, my time as a listening ear. Sometimes people feel really parented when we don't say anything. But
how do you mean?
I have a sweet friend in my life who I know I'm a mother figure for. And a lot of times she just needs a sounding board. Hey, I'm having this issue with my daughter. I've blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that sounds great. Oh, it does. Oh, thanks. I'm not really saying or like giving this profound advice. I'm just there. I'm older. We've built up trust. I'm just there. She needs a mama.
Needs a mama.
She needs a mama.
That sounds very Southern. Okay, recently we have a friend who has purchased her first home.
Yeah.
And she asked you, could you help me organize my kitchen?
Right.
Which you're very gifted at. And so you started doing that recently. Uh-huh. And was it all about the kitchen when you went over there?
Yes, that's all we did.
It was not. Guys, to make this tangible for you, to go, you can do this as well. You can be a father figure, a mother figure. Let's not make it complicated. You have some experience. And what did you do while you were helping get the kitchen started?
I listened to her talk about the new refrigerator or the financial issue wrapped into the house or the comment her sister made or whatever. We just talked about real life. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not complicated, but sometimes it is complicated. I've had some conversations with some young men who would see me as a father figure, and man, it is complicated. And so we get to talk through those things, and they feel heard and cared about. Recently had a conversation with a guy, and he was able to open up and share some painful things that happened as a child. And I just thought, I've really been given a privilege of that kind of trust at this moment. And he needed a father figure just to listen to him.
Yeah, and I want to interject a thought too. So our oldest daughter is a school teacher. She is a mother figure to those precious babies every single day. You don't have to be our age to be a mother or father figure. You can be a 27-year-old teacher. Or, our youngest daughter is 19 and her friends are always joking about, Libby, you're just everybody's mom. But she carries this mother's heart toward people.
That's a good point.
So you can be whatever age that you're at. There are some things, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look around at our society that the number of children who are or who have been neglected. Either they had everything they needed, they had everything that money could buy, they just didn't have the presence of a mom and dad, or there was a mom and dad absent from the home, they were raised from grandparents. The lack of the family unit has been under fire for, I would say, generations.
Yeah, very much so.
And so just look around at work. Co-workers that need a mother or a father figure, people you go to church with, you're in a book club, in a running club, whatever. I don't think you have to look very far to go, wow, I could be a mother figure. I could be a father figure for these people that are already in my circle. You don't have to look far.
The comment was made by one of the people who answered on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Something I did not get enough of was healthy physical touch.
Sure.
As a man, I've seen this before. I've deliberately, let's say I'm standing next to a guy who I'm having a conversation with, and I know that in that role I'm a father figure. Mm-hmm. Just simply putting my hand on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And patting his back as a sign of affirmation.
Yeah.
It's amazing what that does for that other person, even a man, to be able to kind of just relax and go, this guy's affirming me by just patting me on the back. Mm-hmm. As I said something, it's like, I'm with you. It's another sign. I am with you. I believe in you, and you can trust me with this conversation.
Yeah. I think we would tend to say that, with all of our technologies, social media, there's this high level of connectedness. But at the end of the day, I think there is a high level of disconnectedness. That social media and all the things that we're connected with really is, I think, a wall people hide behind. And people are malnutritioned in mother.
Is that a real word?
Yes.
Malnutritioned?
Yes.
Okay.
With mother and father relationships in their lives.
I have mentored younger guys for many years, and let's just say college-age guys for a moment. What I do with many of these guys, we've got this mentoring relationship started, it's developing, and I will leave them a voice message many times through WhatsApp or some other form of some other kind of app. And they'll say, why don't you just send me a text? Why do you send a voice message so much? And I tell them, because I need you to hear my voice. I need you to hear the tone. I need you to understand this is a real relationship that I care about. And when I ask you how you're doing, sometimes I need more than just good or okay in a text.
Yeah.
And I think they really appreciate it at the end of the day, because I find these guys who I have introduced this way of communicating, which sounds crazy to me. It's just simply leaving a voice message. They start doing that back with me.
Yeah.
It's like I may receive a 15-minute voice message sometimes. And what it is catching me up on their day, on their week, details they're dealing with in life. And it's telling me I need another man. I need a father figure just to listen to me.
Well, I want to kind of put a pin in all of this to begin to wrap up. I think at the end of the day, there's a reason that God presents himself as a father. I mean, John 3:16, everybody knows that, whether you know God or not, that God gave his son to the whole world as a good father, as a good gift. And there's something I believe inherently wrapped up in our very personhood that longs to be parented. Even if you had the best parents on the planet, it feels good to be parented. I want to tell people about this young man in our lives, Henry. I love sweet Henry. He's got incredible parents. He comes from an awesome family. His parents live abroad. He's in our city. We get to love on him well as an extension of family. We bake him cookies.
I don't bake him cookies.
No. You take him to the grocery store. We let him use the printer. He doesn't need a mom and dad. But he responds to a mom and dad presence in his life. It just feels good to be parented. It just feels good. Yeah. So what's the lesson of today? It feels good to be parented. There are people in your sphere of influences who could use your mothering, fathering ability.
And I think that women are quicker to ask for that and realize that.
And do it. I think we're more intuitively nurturing.
Yes. Men want it and need it. And I know this because of experience with mentoring numerous men over the years.
But maybe won't ask.
But they won't ask. So as you listen to this podcast and you're needing a father figure or a mother figure, look around and ask someone else.
Yeah. And no matter what your age is, there are people around you who could use a little mothering and fathering. From years of experience in the field that we work in, it just feels good. Yeah.
Could I share a quick story about our girls?
Super quick.
Okay. So this past weekend, two of our girls headed to Texas. Car breaks down. We're in the middle of a board meeting. We get a phone call. Dad, the car's broken down. We finished the meeting and we hit the road and went and picked them up. Cars at a dealership, you bring them back. And our oldest daughter, who's 27, who's very independent, who is so confident, she said, "Thank you for dropping everything and just helping me."
Yeah.
That's kind of a father-mother figure. That's what people desire. Is there
we
someone
are
else?
her mother.
Well, we are her parents.
Duh.
But she's an adult, and sometimes we think, well, I'm an adult. I don't need that as much.
Yeah.
Or as parents, well, my daughter, she's 27. She's independent. She doesn't need it.
Yeah.
We still need it, and it just feels right in our souls.
Right. So I don't think, however old you are, that need, don't dismiss the need. I believe it's scriptural. I think God put us on the planet with a need to be parented well because ultimately He's the one who does that. But I am a firm believer that He uses men and women to parent us. Anything else?
That's good.
All right. Well, man, there are all kinds of options for you to listen to podcasts. We're so thankful that you stuck with us and that you're listening today. If you would be so kind, if this has been helpful, to review, to download, and if you would like to give a financial donation, I'm just going to direct you to our webpage. It's FahrenheitMentoring.org. You can find all the information you need there. But thank you so much for sticking with us today.